Geography Now Austria.
Time to get into Vienna and a little bit of the Alps with our little learning of Austria today.
I went on a train through Austria. That's pretty much the only thing I've done in Austria. I literally just went right through it through the Alps, and it was a fantastic ride, but don't know anything about Austria now.
Oh, I thought you were about to say that you are the connoisseur of the country, actually
I
once
am.
elected for president because of your train ride through Austria.
I should be. I really want to go to Vienna. Vienna looks like a very interesting city to like poke around and go and look at some of the sites for a day or two. So, and then of course the most beautiful and important part of Austria is those dang Alps are insane.
So I hope we can see some pictures of them in this video, or better.
Let's just jump right into it. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Here we go. Please play.
Also nicht
Thank you.
vergessen, wann's nach Österreich kommst, aber wann's Deutsch reden, nennt es nicht Deutsch.
Not call them German. Okay.
It's time to learn geography now!
Hey peeps, I'm your host Paul Barbato. Let's dissect the flag.
Right into it.
The flag is one of the oldest used flags of Europe. Disputably, legend has it that the flag comes from the Siege of Acre after Leopold V came back from battle and removed his belt with his blood-soaked tunic, leaving a red-white banner. Keep in
That
mind
is
that the
interesting.
Austrian flag looks very similar to the flag of Latvia. However, the Latvian flag has unequal-sized bands and is a darker shade of red. Keep in mind, many other countries in the Eastern European region, specifically the Pan-Slavic areas, still retain a part or complete version of the white-red pattern on their flags, like Austria. We'll explain a little bit more about this, but first, let's talk about the borders.
Did he just make an oopsie and say the Czech Republic was Eastern European?
Oh yeah, in his Czechia video, he said it's not Eastern European.
I bet he got slandered for that,
Yeah,
and then he
that's
was like,
probably
all
why.
right, fine.
That's the reason he mentioned it in one.
The white-red pattern on their flags, like Austria. We'll explain a little bit more about this, but first, let's talk about the borders. In terms of its location, Austria is landlocked, bordered by 8 other countries, don't forget Liechtenstein, in the Central European region, with the Alps dominating 3/4 of the country in the west and in the
Wow.
center. The country is divided into 9 states, although it's kind of funny because the state of Lower Austria is technically a little higher than Upper Austria geographically. The capital and the largest city is Vienna, located on the eastern side of the country, where 1 out of every 8 Austrians can be found. The city
wow.
is a wonderful assimilation of centuries-old stone churches, palaces, opera houses, and monuments, as well as modern high-rises, skyscrapers, and business offices. Oh, and there's dozens of castles speckled throughout the entire country. Remember how in the Albania video I told you play that whole find the bunker game? Well, in Austria, it's kind of like find the castle game. As a member of the EU, Austria's borders are pretty open with all of its neighbors and are pretty much virtually invisible with the exception of the occasional river or mountain blocking the way. The only controversy it really has is in the South Tyrol region, which historically belonged to a number of different kingdoms and empires, but for a
Of
long
course.
while it belonged to the House of Habsburg, a historically fascinating lineage that would eventually play a pivotal role in providing half of Europe with all of their monarchical lineages. In short, it kinda
Inbred
initially
people.
belonged to Austria. However, after the Treaty of Saint-Germain-en-Laye,
What's up with these Habsburgs? Why are they inbreeding so dang much?
Yeah, what is that like some sort of genetic thing where they're attracted to themselves, very similar versions of themselves?
Maybe.
in
Or, you know, money.
Money.
Keep the money in the family.
1919, the entire southern part of this region was kind of reluctantly given to the Kingdom of Italy. This explains why Austria has a relatively narrow eastern parameter that stretches into the Alps, as the South Tyrol
That is
region,
a
which
crazy
previously gave
border.
the country a wider range of dominion, was ceded to Italy.
Oh, it's like a
Austria was kind of
club
like, okay, Italy,
on
we'll
its
give you
side.
this piece
Dog.
of land, but you know,
Or a
just
tomahawk
little heads up,
steak.
pretty much everybody
Or
in there is
chicken wing,
Austrian and they speak German
like
and they
drum-
kind of
drum.
want to be part of Austria. But hey, it's all yours. The most confusing part of the region, though, would have to be the Jungholz Enclave. Located right on the border of the Bavarian region of
whoa.
southern Germany, this place only has about 300 people, separated into 4 small towns. This area is strange because it is one of Europe's only 3 quadrupoint borders and is technically joined by Austria by only a small narrow corridor, only a few meters wide on the top of the adjacent
meters?
Hochschofen mountain that crosses over into the Austria side. Otherwise, the only way to get into Austria from
So
this
it's a
region is by
quad point, but it's
driving
like 2
through
different
Germany.
countries?
This means that if you don't want to go through
That is
Germany to get into
crazy.
Austria from this region, the only way is to literally climb to the top of Sochstrofen mountain to the very point where the four borders meet and climb all the way down to the rest of Austria. Since
sounds
the
like
19th
our
century,
style.
The borders have been literally marked every single step of the way, and the top has a mark stone that distinguishes the narrow crossing. Believe it or not, this is actually a common hike that a lot of people take, despite the fact that many of them don't even understand the significance of the markers. Speaking of mountains and hikes, let's talk about the physical geography.
Nature, Alpers.
As mentioned before, about 3/4 of Austria
I love
is mountainous,
Alpers.
with the Alps dominating the center and western parts of the country. These mountains are the characterizing segments that give Austria its distinct national identity, both historically and culturally. In short, even though the vast majority of people in Austria live in the low-lying plains around the mountains, Austria would not be Austria without the Alps. These mountains can actually be quite quirky, almost with minds of their own. For example, every spring in the Hochschwab Mountains and forests on the east side of the Alps, the snowmelt from the mountains completely engorges the Grüner See, or the Green Lake, engulfing the entire park with trees and benches underneath it. These mountains
whoa.
also provide the perfect setting for Austria's favorite sport, skiing. The problem, though, is that although these mountains are very beautiful, they do kind of make a lot of the country uninhabitable or difficult to cultivate. Although 40% of the land is covered in forests, less than 20% of the land is arable. And for the record, yes, The Sound of Music was filmed in parts of Austria. No, not everybody has seen or even cared about seeing that movie. Of course, the mighty Danube River flows through the northern part of the country and has historically played a vital role in Austria's economy and trade sector, especially after the construction of the Rhine-Main-Danube River Canal back in 1992, which allows ships to finally pass from the North Sea through Europe into the Balkans and ending into the Black Sea. The low-lying areas of eastern Austria have nice grassy hills and plains, perfect
Aw,
for cattle
cute
raising
cow.
and, of course, dairy production, where some of the classiest Austrian cheeses are produced. Now, of course, Austria's economy is not really that heavily based on agriculture, but rather services and industry, specifically in engine and medication manufacturing. But who does all the manufacturing? Let's find out in demographics. You know, as the
Let's
home
see.
country of Mozart, Austria still kind of lives up to its classy expectation. Austria has a population of about 8.5 million, about 90% of whom are ethnically Austrian, and 10% from other nations, mostly from Germany and the former Yugoslavian states such as Hungary, Serbia, and Bosnia, with an influx of Turkish people having...
It's crazy. So many of these countries that we react to on these Geography Nows, they're like majority, like high majority, one nationality.
And then their second majority is the bordering nation.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because I mean, being from the U.S., obviously, it's like almost like 55%ish are European descent, and then everything else is just a huge mishmash of everybody. So it's very interesting to see that they're so predominantly one thing.
Yeah, so I imagine the countrysides are very, very, like, this countryside of Austria is just mostly Austrian people.
Yeah, probably.
immigrated over the past few decades. The reason why there are so many Eastern Europeans in Austria has somewhat to do with the Austro-Hungarian Empire and the Habsburg dynasty, which was one of the most pivotal monarchies that shaped the entire course of European history in every corner, from Spain to France, England to Russia, and so on. The Habsburgs even took over Mexico for a short period of time. That's how powerful these people were. Yes, Austrians speak German, however, rule number one, do not call them German. They're kind of reluctant to even tell you that they speak German.
What about calling them
Very quick to point out
Australians?
that it's Austrian German, not German German.
You gotta think that one's gotta be worse.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even close.
Yeah. Other than the Austri part.
Yeah,
But
it's just a few letters.
Yeah. The dang Ost got Americans confused. You got us confused, guys. Come on.
Yeah, just rename your country like not German. Not Germany.
Yeah.
That would be
cool.
confusing.
No.
The language has a very distinct vocabulary, a lot of the words influenced from Eastern European nation words, and they also have their own standard dictionary set apart from the German and Swiss dictionaries. The dialects can change drastically in Austria. Sometimes it only takes about 40 kilometers traveling inward until you reach an area that has a completely different accent. And don't even get started on those Liechtensteiners. In contrast to Germans, Austrians like to define themselves as more soft-spoken and reserved. They don't like to upset anybody, and courtesy is very highly expected in this
Good.
country. Educational accomplishments and achievements
Very
are
good.
very highly prized in Austria. One thing Austrians do kind of obsess over, though, are titles. They prefer to be addressed by every title that they've obtained for themselves, even if it
Oh,
equates to
man.
like 15 titles. Mr., Doctor, Chairman, Vice
Nothing worse when you like. I mean, it doesn't happen that often. It's just the people, and you're like, say something to them, and they're like, "Actually, doctor, my name's Doctor."
Please call me Doctor. You mean Professor Doctor Mr. McStuffins? Isn't that a kid's
That
show,
scene is
Doc
very
McStuffins?
pretentious here. Doc McStuffins. I don't know. I don't know. I have not heard of it, but maybe.
CEO, Chairman Otto von Schnitzelbach.
You have to refer to somebody as CEO?
No, that's so lame.
That is so lame. You know, watch out if you're a healthcare CEO.
Oh.
Mr. Doctor, Chairman, Vice CEO, Chairman Otto von Schnitzelbach. One thing that Austrians will tell you that they really like to do is just taking simple walks, whether it's just for an hour to clear their head, and
That's
in
good.
any weather, whether it's great or whether it's raining. They even have a word for it, spazieren gehen. Don't be surprised if an Austrian invites you to just go for a walk. Go with it. They're a little bit more conservative in their politics, which can possibly be attributed to the growing elderly population. However, the youth have always been known to ruffle up a few controversy feathers here and there. I mean, the winner of last year's Eurovision contest was an Austrian drag queen with a beard. They keep things a
What
little
the?
bit on the
That's
down low.
interesting.
However, once every so
That
often,
is not what
one
I
notable
expected
figure
from
comes and
Austria.
shines through, like Christopher Waltz and everyone's favorite bodybuilder Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold.
By the way, contrary to some stupid rumors, no, the last name Schwarzenegger does not have a racist connotation behind it. It literally just means the person from Schwarzen. Schwarzen meaning black,
Schwarzenegger.
Egger meaning soil, black soil, fertile soil. It basically just means the place of the fertile soil. The family is descended from a long line of prosperous farmers, which is what the name refers to. Case closed!
That's why he's so
Speaking-
jacked. That
Yeah.
and steroids.
No, maybe some fertile soil steroids, but it's mostly you get the nutrients. The nutrients are all that matters. And steroids.
What if he just eats the fertilizer and that actually...
He's gotta have some secrets.
He's gotta.
Of relationships, let's talk about the friend zone.
Friend zone.
In the simplest way I can put this, this is kind of what Austria's relationships kind of look like. Now shut up and dance with me! Pretty much all of Austria's
Oh.
best friends have some kind of a love-hate relationship with them, but love always wins in the end. It's kind of crazy too, because in the nicest, softest way I can put this, Austria did kind of start or influence both world wars. World War I with the attacks from the Empire on Serbia after the Archduke was assassinated, and World War II because, well, I mean, Hitler was kind of born in Austria. I mean, no Austria, no Hitler. To this day, Austria is incredibly neutral in their affairs and lies in a very interesting
So,
alliance.
I am
lim-
curious. Are Austrians, like, sensitive about that? Because he, like, tried to, like, have to mention it, like, quickly and then move on.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's not something you would ever like hear of. Like no one. I don't think people specifically like attack Austria for that, do they?
No. I don't think so. But you never know,
You
I
never
guess.
know. People are
Who
weird.
knows?
There's a lot of weirdos
They
out
are
there.
weird. We did a Hitler reaction once, and people were in the comments basically saying Hitler was kind of right. Hitler was right in some ways.
They were defending
And
him.
they're
Like why? It
And we're
doesn't
like,
matter.
all right, yeah, okay, go ahead.
limbo, as they have neither joined NATO or the Warsaw Pact. But enough on that. In
People
regards
are
to their
weird.
eastern
That's the
neighbors,
moral of the
because
story.
the whole Austro-Hungarian Empire, Austria and many of the other Central and Balkan states like the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Serbia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and so on, have close ties to Austria, even though historically they had lots of drama under the Habsburg dynasty. But hey, it was either the Habsburgs or the Ottomans, and they hated the Ottomans. In regards to Italy, Italy has always been a huge trade partner, but of course, like mentioned before, the whole South Tyrol region thing kind of causes a little bit of tension. They aren't going to war or anything, but Austria is kind of like, look, Italy, I mean, come on. Everybody there is Austrian. In terms of their best friends, Austria would kind of reluctantly say Germany, but more specifically Bavaria, the region of South Germany. Bavarians and Austrians are very similar in their culture and tradition. Some Austrians will tell you that because they get along so well, Bavaria is said to be the 10th Bundesland, or state, of Austria, although Bavaria alone has more inhabitants than the whole of Austria.
Yeah,
You
we're
know,
like
all
double
the
their
stereotypical
size.
Lederhosen and Dirndl costume stuff that you see on all those Oktoberfest commercials, yeah, that's kind of what you would attribute to Bavarian and somewhat Austrian culture, but they only do that on special occasions. I mean, if it was up to me, I would wear that stuff 24/7, but hey, to each his own. In
Same.
conclusion,
Let's
Austria is
see it
kind of
at
like
bars
the country
every
that
Geo Now
secretly
video.
changed the entire
Yeah.
course of all of
That's what we
European
need.
history right under our noses without us even knowing about it. Here's one more picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and get ready because
Arnold.
Azerbaijan is coming up next.
All right, we just learned a bunch of random stuff about Austria.
I feel like I could maybe get like 6 out of 10 on an Austria quiz now about general knowledge about Austria.
That's pretty cool. And if it's about Arnold and steroids, you'd probably do even better.
Yeah, it's the first question. Does he use steroids?
Yeah, that's an easy one. No, all natural fertilizer.
Yeah. Just
Well,
the black
we're
soil.
gonna. Yes, eating the plant. How is that? Somebody thought that was racist?
I don't know.
We'll see in the comments after this video if Austrians are as sensitive as your German counterparts, and if there's any angry comments from some of the comments that we made during this video. None of them were meant to be malicious in any way.
Yeah, there's the whole point of this is we're ignorant Americans and we're learning, okay? Okay?
Come on. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed. Check out our travel vlog channel if you want to see us in Austria someday. We probably won't be there anytime soon, but we're traveling around Asia right now on there. Check out the link in the description below.
Let us know what we're going to act to next from Austria.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.